everybody, it is Brick Prime here, back again with another video, and today we're going to be looking at the LEGO Star Wars Rogue One AT-ST Walker. So here it is, and I'm just going to say right off the bat that this is a pretty nice adaptation of the movie Walker, and I really do like it. I feel like there's not too much wrong with it, and that it's pretty much spot on compared to a few of the other walkers that we've gotten recently. There are 3 minifigures in this set. We have the Rebel Trooper, the AT-ST driver, and the main character, Baze Malbus. Now onto the set. So for the AT-ST itself, you can see that it has a lot of weapons, 3 to be exact. So you got this little turret right over here, blaster over here, and then like a grenade launcher over here. And for this little turret right over here, you do have some spring-loaded shooters to kind of represent the bolts that come out of these 2 cones right over here. And to shoot them off, there is these 2 cones right over here, and when you press them, they go flying. So we're just going to do that. So I'm going to put my hand in the way because these go quite far. And you see how that goes, so I'll move my hand. And it went flying off. They're pretty hard to find if they get lost. So LEGO was generous enough to include 3 in the set. So 1 is an extra. And this just doesn't want to work with me. Get back in there, and yeah. Nothing else actually shoots from this. No stud shooters, only spring-loaded. And for the top, there is a hatch, so you can open that up, and you can see that there are 2 little handlebars there, so you can take your AT-ST driver and clip his hands to there so that he can be kind of peering out of the hatch when he wants to look down at the rebels. And I really do like that touch. It's pretty nice. But for our huge hands to get in there, they do allow you to just take this entire top section, move it up. And in here you have a blaster, a thermal detonator. And the way that he sits down is from, not by studs, but by this little modified plate here that allows a minifigure to just kind of wedge their feet in there. So that's that for how he sits. And for the console, you can see that it is stickered. Sadly, I would have really liked a print on here, but they just couldn't do that. So we have this, and this does look pretty nice. Looks quite accurate if you ask me. And I believe those 2 red spots are meant to represent the AT-ST's eyes, or like what you can see through. But obviously it's not to scale with the actual AT-ST. Now, one problem that is pretty inaccurate is the fact that this only seats 1 person. Now, I have seen some people try to modify the set so that it can seat 2, so it's more accurate. But as of now, we only have a 1 seat, so that's unfortunate. Actually, I really do wish that it could seat 2 people, and maybe then we would have gotten 2 minifigures, 2 of these guys, instead of having only 3 minifigures, which I feel like is quite low for a set of this price. And overall, I feel like this is kind of too much. It does cost kind of too much compared to what you're actually getting. I would have liked some terrain maybe for the rebels, or some sort of weapon or vehicle for the rebels, as small as it may be. But overall, the set itself is good, but for the price tag, I don't think if it's all that worth it. Now, over here, on the legs, they are kind of thin, but it's really okay. And there are blue pins right over here. It doesn't bother me all too much, but for some people who maybe want to display it, they will get a little bit of trouble with those pins and trying to hide them away. And over here, for articulation on the legs, they have a quite stiff kind of ratchet here, which just moves over only so far. But it can go all the way back, kick itself, if you really did want it to. But we're just going to move that back, like that, and tight ratchet joints. And he does have some waist swivel, I guess you could call it. I mean, this is a walker, so I don't know if it has a waist, but just twist this knob right here, and it has a nicely and smoothly integrated rotation over here. And sometimes the walker does kind of get loose like this, and when you spin it, it gets really loose like this because it's not connected. So you have to connect it back in. And I have found it out that this happens more than like a few times. It happens pretty much every time that you want to use it. So for kids who want to play, it might not be the best option to use this because it disconnects quite a lot, I have found. And for accuracy to the real Rogue One walker, I do feel like this is pretty spot on. I mean, there aren't any big inaccuracies that bother me all too much. I am a pretty big Star Wars fan, so I would know. And there is just a pretty nice color on here. The ATSTs themselves never really had too much color, so this is pretty spot on. I really do think so. So without further ado, let's get right on to the minifigures. The minifigures are, from left to right, Baze Malbus, Rebel Trooper, and ATST Driver. And I think the best of these figures is Baze Malbus. He has, in my opinion, the best print. I have actually put them in order of the best print, so I think that first, second, third. He does have some pretty drab print. He doesn't really look all that great. I feel like just they could have added a little more detail to him. He's kind of bland. I do like, though, the inclusion of the wrinkles on the shirt. It does make it look a lot more lifelike. So I do like that. But I feel like he's on the lower end in terms of these three minifigures. The Rebel Trooper is good. I really do like the inclusion of a darker skin tone because usually we only get light skin tones. So I do like that they've included that. I also like the blaster that they've given him. It's just a normal blaster, but they add this little piece to it. And I do love blasters that you have to build, not blasters that are already given to you like this. I would prefer to have all blasters kind of brick built. But for print, he does look really good. It might not come off well on camera, but on his legs there is some very subtle, very, very slight grayish print that you can't really see. I don't know if it's coming off well, if the camera's focusing enough. But on the legs there is some print, and it looks pretty good. And for the jacket, nice print, lots of pockets, kind of like a vest. And the helmet is good. It's got a little symbol on this side. I don't really know what that means, but it's pretty good. Get it to focus. Yeah, so I do like him quite a lot. No alternate face, sadly. On the back, some more print. And yeah, that's it for the Rebel Trooper. Speaking of print on the back of his head, he does have some print on the back of his head. Now he has more of a mean smirk that does look pretty good. I like the inclusion of the cheek kind of just, I don't know if this comes off well, but there's just a little thing that kind of makes it look more believable on his cheek over there. And on the back, again, he kind of has this angry print. And I do like the strap kind of coming down. It does kind of push the mouth and the eyes a bit higher, but it looks good overall. And there is some goggle print on the helmet. So in terms of the head and above, he's pretty good. But I think that the rest of the print's kind of just drab and not too good. Not as good compared to Baze Malbus here, who is pretty nice looking. I love the print that they've given him. He has a lot of pockets, a lot of little explosives kind of looking pretty nice. I do like it. I do like it. On the back, you can't really see much because it's covered by this nicely built blaster. Again, I do love brick-built blasters, and this is no exception. It has a roller skate piece at the top to kind of give it sights, so it's kind of cool. I like the backpack over here. It looks good, and I love the chain over here. And if you want to take it off, just remove the head and take that off, and you can see the back print here. Kind of plain, but it's okay. I do think that it's good if it's covered up. And this is a clear piece over here to kind of make it look like it's more of a backpack and not something attached to his neck. And of course his head comes back on. And for the hair, you can turn it around, and you can give him his angry face, which is more of an accurate face to how he is in the movie most of the time. Mainly angry, not too happy. And he is a little top heavy, so you can see he falls over. So if I move the blaster up, he just falls over right away. Unless you really get it right, but most of the time you can see he falls over, and that's okay by me. Doesn't really make a difference for him. Sometimes he kind of is a mixed bag. Sometimes he falls over, sometimes he can stand. But if you want to display them on one of these platforms so that they stand upright. And that pretty much does it for the minifigures. I think that the inclusion of maybe one more would be pretty nice, but of course they just didn't. So that's kind of unfortunate, but these 3 minifigures are pretty good. I think that he's the best. He's second, he's third. So yeah, that's it for these minifigures. Well, I feel like this is a great set, awesome even, but this does cost quite a lot. It doesn't bother me all too much, but maybe if they bumped it down by maybe $10 or add another minifigure, I feel like it might be a little more justified. But again, great set, really think it's worth buying. So this is Brick Prime here. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will talk to you all again soon.